everyone, it's Denise with Creating Crafty Things, and today we're going to be making some pom-poms. These ones I'm going to be putting on my Christmas tree, so I need to make a lot of them. But this is what we're going to be making, and they're super easy to make. There's these little tools that you can buy at, I've seen them at Hobby Lobby, and they come in a set of 4. So this is the second to smallest one, and there's other sizes, so let me show you those sizes. There's the second to largest, and then there's a large one, and then there's a teeny tiny one. So they come in this this kit of 4. And you can do different sizes if you want for making garland, or you can do all the same size, which is what I'm doing. I'm using this size to make these size pom-poms. I don't want to. My grandma used to teach me how to make these pom-poms when I was little, and they are super easy to make and a lot of fun. So you can get any kind of yarn that you want. What you're gonna do is, I like this. This is kind of like real fuzzy yarn. It's super soft. As you can see, it feels really soft. So it's just something that I decided I wanted to do. So what you'll do is you'll open this little pom-pom maker. So all you have to do is open it up, and when you open it up, you'll find the piece of the end of your yarn, and what you can do is just have like a little tail hanging out, and you're going to start it underneath these little edges right here. You can see these little edges, and you're going to start right underneath those, and you're going to wrap the yarn around these half circles that look like smiley faces. So you're just going to wrap your yarn like this. And like I said, my grandma and I used to make these, but we used our hands. And for the life of me, I can't remember how to do it with my hands. And once you get kind of around the piece a little bit, you can kind of tuck the tail in and go over it a little bit, so it kind of holds it in there. It's not going to fall apart when you cut the yarn to make the pom-pom. It's just going to help to hold it in there. And I go around quite a few times, just kind of going back and forth on the half circle, making sure, and you don't want to do it like too tight, because what happens is when we have to go and cut it, it's really hard to cut when you wrap the yarn around it, around the half circle here, because we're going to cut half of it. We're going to cut it in half, so you don't want to do it too tight. Okay, I think that's good. And then what I do is I keep it all one piece. Whoops. Go around a little bit. I keep it all one piece, and I close it inside this white piece that holds them together, that makes the full pom-pom. So I kind of maneuver this one over, and I keep it all one piece because I found that it's easier. And then you just start going around this one, the same thing. You can do this while you're, sitting in front of the TV and you're watching a show you've recorded, or a movie, or outside by the fire pit by yourself, or talking with someone. Because they do take a little while to make, especially if you're going to make a garland. It takes a little while. And I'm going to finish this up right here. And then once you're done, you just cut a little piece, just cut it off. And then you're going to close it like so. And now you can see that the pieces are going to come together. Now what you're going to do is, on each side of these pom-pom makers, there was a little groove. So you're going to see a little groove right here. This groove right here is where you're going to cut the yarn to make it kind of split in half, and that's what makes the pom-pom. Okay, so you have to find it. Make sure you have a good pair of scissors, because if you don't, you're gonna struggle to cut it, and your arm and hand is gonna get tired from cutting. So you want to make sure you have a good pair of scissors, and I just snip it because it's hard to get under there and cut, just like cut it with the whole scissor. So I just kind of snip it, and that really kind of gets it started. And you'll see that it's starting to pop. And some of them are hard to cut. If you get the yarn a little thick in one spot, it's hard to cut it, but just keep at it. You'll get it. And we got one side almost done. There we go. And I just make sure, see there's a little piece right there that didn't get cut, so I just have to sometimes get in there and cut it a little bit, or you just use your scissors to pop it up. And don't worry about like any stray pieces or anything like that. Just make sure that it's cut all the way through, like you don't have any yarn hanging up, because when you pull this apart, you don't want it to get stuck and then everything that you have. So these are like essentially loose pieces. If you pull them out without tying the string around it, you're gonna have a big mess of just like little pieces of yarn flying around and hanging out. Okay, so then we're gonna do the other side. And I cut that little piece that was my transition piece. I cut it just so I can get in here and start cutting this side. And that's why you don't want to do it too tight too, because it makes it hard to cut. If you make the yarn, when you're going around a half circle, makes it hard to cut it when it's tight. Almost done. Okay, so I just make sure again that all my pieces are cut. And it looks like it is. Don't worry about the fuzz hanging off. Okay, now what we're going to do is take some of that yarn. Just a little piece. You don't need anything too big. Just enough to go around the pom-pom maker. So what you're going to do now, where you cut that groove, or where you use to cut the pom-pom in half, is you're going to take a piece of yarn, like so, not too big, and you're going to put the yarn string around where the groove is, like that. You put it around there, see? And it goes right across. And you're going to kind of pull tight on one side, holding the pieces, making sure your two half pieces are held together. And then you're going to tie a knot. And I pull it pretty tight because it's going around a lot of layers. Okay, and you can cut these now if you want, or you can wait. I usually wait so that way I can kind of use it as an extra little fringe or a little extra pom-pom piece. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your little handles. You've got handles right here. You're going to take those and you're going to just pull, and you see how it kind of makes the pom-pom, right? Let's do it with the other side. We're going to just pull like that. And now we're almost... I find it easier, instead of trying to pull this whole piece out of the pom-pom maker, is they come apart. So I just pull it apart and then put it back together, so that way I don't have to fumble on how to figure out which way it goes. And then I usually just put it back together to make sure. And there's your pom-pom. So now you can just clean it up. You got see some of my pieces that I used to put it together. Some little extra stragglers. This is where we tied everything. And I like to leave them kind of uneven. I don't like to clean it up too much. I like the kind of messy look for my pom-poms. And then what you do is just kind of play with it a little bit, get it to kind of round out a little. Some extra long ones there. And there you go. There's your pom-pom. Pretty fun. These are, they're pom-pom makers, and you can find them in the yarn section. I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. Amazon has them as well, and you just, type in the search pom-pom makers. And I hope you have fun. They're not very expensive. For the set of 4, I can't remember how much they are, but for the set of 4, they're not very much. And yarn is not that much either, especially when you get it on sale at Joann's has sales a lot of times for yarn. I like this fuzzier kind of yarn because it's softer, as I mentioned earlier. You can use any kind of yarn that you want. And we're just gonna have fun with this. All right, so I hope you enjoyed how to make pom-poms. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.